It is that time of the evening where I open up the green room. It's the place where you get acquainted with a creative in the industry doing bits. And this week, my lovely green room guest is Saba Al-Mimi. He's one of Britain's youngest imams, educating his following on Islam and debunking the bias around his culture. And I just want to hear more about it. He got in contact over Instagram and very excited for all that he's doing. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Now, look, there'll be people that might not understand or know of what an imam is. It's a term they haven't come across, perhaps unless they've bumped into the work that you're doing online or have someone else who is sort of doing something similar. So go on, let's unpick what that title is all about.
Yeah, so basically an imam, an easy way to understand it, is like a Muslim version of a priest.
Right. Okay. And with this, you are doing loads online. What is this platform that you've created?
Under the name of The Young Imam. And I just use my platform for three things. Number one, help people learn about Islam, because there's a lot of questions out there about my faith. Number two, help people be the best version of themselves every single day. So putting out motivational content just to help people get through life and navigate through challenges. And finally, help people connect with God and make their link with God stronger. Yeah, and if people are looking towards faith or looking to connect with God, then I try to create that safe space for people to ask questions and have a chat and just a friendly person to talk to on social media.
Brilliant. So there's all these different things that you're championing. Why did this come about? Have you experienced discrimination yourself? Is it something that's rooted back from way back when, growing up, and wanting people to have an understanding of who you are and what comes with that, whether it's faith, whether it's belief around faith? You know, where did this all start for you before the Instagram, before the Twitter, before these amazing talks that you're doing with people to help them understand more about Islam?
Yeah, I decided to give my life for the service of religion when I was 17. I said to my mum, look, I want to serve my faith. I want to serve Islam and I want to become an imam. And um, that's where it all began. I had quite a strong relationship and connection with my community. I used to go to prayers at the mosque quite regularly and I was involved with the community activities. And then I feel like that, along with the prayers of my parents and my elders, all came together. And then I woke up one morning and said, look, I want to serve my faith. And 10 years on, so after doing a 7-year degree at the seminary of my community, I'm part of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and I trained at the seminary of our community, which is called Jamia Ahmadiyya UK, where you train for 7 years. And then after that, I'm now serving in the press office of my community, reaching out to the media and just trying to allow people to see what life is like as a young British Muslim, as a father, as an imam, and because a lot of people don't sometimes they never met a Muslim. So by me showing what my life is like through my Instagram stories, through drinking coffee and taking the kids to the park and changing nappies and realizing that there's no point in wearing clean clothes because by the time you get down the stairs, your clothes are dirty again. Like just to show what life is like as a young person, and I hope and pray that through that honesty and vulnerability on social media, people can see that this guy might be a different color, might wear ridiculously crazy funky socks, but he's just like me, and I feel like we've got more in common than not. And once we unite on our commonalities, we'll be able to live in a society where there's peace, love and harmony and acceptance and tolerance, and everyone's striving for the same purpose and the same goal, which is love for all and hatred for none, which is also the motto of my community, which I try and live by every single day.
Very super motto, and one I hope that everyone takes up, even if some can't withhold that. I hope everyone dips into that motto as much as they can. And you said uniting on your commonalities as well. I love that. Now, I'm really interested to find out more about the sort of bias that you might have faced that's pushed this work, the undertones in conversation, perhaps the assumptions about your faith.
Yeah, so one thing I try and always make across and make that point is that look, you can be British and be a Muslim. There's a third of Britons feel that Islam threatens the British way of life, and I feel a massive reason for that is because they never met a Muslim. They never spoke to a Muslim and had questions answered which they might have. And I feel like my platforms on social media allow that safe space, people to come in my DMs and ask questions which they might be wary to ask. But I feel like until we create a safe space for people to ask questions what they think are not PC, that one third of people who are scared of Islam will only increase. So I hope that we're able to just have an honest conversation, and there's no question that you can't ask. And that's why being a young faith leader and being a Muslim on social media is so important, because there's a need for it.
Of course. And I saw, were you sat with next to Trisha Goddard not so long ago, virtually, I think?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
that was a really interesting conversation. You posted a clip up to your Instagram. Can you unravel that conversation a little bit more? I know you were talking about the heat and people dressing up in the heat, and then you were able to kind of cross this across, into the points that you wanted to make around Islam. Just can you unravel that a little bit for those that might not have seen that conversation so far?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to be on Trisha Goddard's talk show on Talk TV, which takes place every Sunday. And we were just talking about how to deal with the heat, as you mentioned before I came on, how people are dealing with whether they're drinking Tango Blasts or whatever they're doing.
You were listening to
But
that bit.
of course I was, yeah, yeah. But so we were just talking about how what the government guidelines are, and can you stay cool and be covered. And Islam teaches to dress modestly, and that's also what the government's saying, to not have your skin out because you're going to increase your risk of skin cancer and skin burn. Rather, it was saying to wear loose clothes and thin clothes, and it's also what we see when we go to school or drop our kids off at nursery. The teacher says to me, has your son got or daughter got a hat which they can wear just to protect them?" And there's also guidelines out there to put children in thin cotton clothing. So just conversation around staying cool and staying covered, and that was part of the conversation of which we had yesterday.
Brilliant. Look, there's so many conversations that you are opening up, whether it's sort of in the spotlight on something like, a chat show with Trisha Goddard, or doing it off of your own back. You do lots online. How are you also, I know there's lots of other ways that you're getting out into the community. Have you been able to do many talks kind of out of lockdown?
Yeah, it's been really nice actually. I think there's been a lot of positive feedback. So I've managed to go into some schools and have a talk about Islam in assemblies, other panel discussions, and chat shows, whether that's Sunday Morning Live on the BBC or um, this with Trisha on Talk TV. So it's nice to have that space to have a conversation, and it's
Sure.
not always about Islam. Sometimes it's talking about what's in the news and my personal opinion. And again, just displaying that, yeah, we also have an opinion and a voice, and it's about having that space to voice that voice.
For sure. I've got friends that have experienced discrimination on a realm of levels. I mean, this,
Mm.
for various different reasons, and they always make the point that it comes from, it's learnt behaviour. We're not born as someone that actively discriminates. It's something we learn around us. Do you agree with that? And also from that statement that they make, I wondered what it was like to go and chat to children, because they're very early on in their stages of learning. And what were those conversations like with those kids?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to discrimination, I feel that that's just a massive lack of education and
Sure.
understanding, really. And I think once education is there, then we can move away from discrimination and we can move more towards mutual respect. And that education quintessentially starts from childhood. And that's why when we go into schools, we talk about equality and justice, and the questions which the children ask are the basics of Islam, and what is the Holy Quran, and what is an Imam, and um, do Muslims pray on a prayer mat, and why do you take your shoes off in the mosque? And it starts with opening the doors for that kind of a conversation. And that's how I believe is one way of removing that discrimination and hatred. Because once they understand something, they're like, you know what, that makes sense, and it's that their way of life, and we might have a different way of life, but it's about respecting that. and that's how you move forward in creating a harmonious a society where people are respected for what they believe in.
For sure. Look, all that you're doing is absolutely fantastic. As you
So
say,
much.
education is key to help other people understand how, how other people live, why they follow a faith, what even just dissecting what a faith is, So the fact that you're creating this platform where you're able to do that is absolutely fantastic. There's loads here. I mean, I wish we had an hour to sit down with a cuppa, perhaps on another occasion. Unfortunately, there's only so much we can do on the show tonight. But how can people find you and find out more about these topics that you are delving into?
Yeah, I think you described it really nicely. I think I am the young Imam on social media, on all platforms. The young Imam, all one word. And yeah, just people pop in and say hi, and drop me a message, and let's connect. And you'll see the life of a young Imam drinking espressos and living life, going to the gym and going to the office and going to these discussions and talks and going to school. So it's a really intimate and up close life of a young British Imam and Muslim.
Super. Thank you so much for joining us this evening
Thank
in the green room. And thank you for getting in touch, because if you hadn't, it might have taken a little longer for me to uncover all that you're doing. But it seems like you are, things are moving very quickly with this platform that you've created. And I wish you all the best with it.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.